Hey Bayek, it's me Ian, and in today's video I'm going to look at this. Yes, it is The Deadly Assassin from 1976. Another classic Doctor Who story. Now, this is interesting because this is the first story where the Doctor is on his own. Yeah, he's actually on his own. We don't get him on his own again until after Donna leaves, going right into the new series with the 10th Doctor. So this is quite unique. Now, the story before The Hand of Fear, we saw the departure of Sarah Jane. And I think it's interesting because when you look at this story, the Doctor almost doesn't really give her much emotion, really. It's goodbye, I've been recalled to Gallifrey, and that's it. And it's kind of interesting. That shows the sort of, I don't know, the fourth Doctor, this... he didn't always show his emotions as much to his companions, whereas a lot of the other Doctors, I always think of the third Doctor, how sad he looks when Jo leaves in The Green Death, and you see the look on Peter Davison's face when Tegan leaves, and it's... With the fourth Doctor, he just carries on hiding, I think, to some extent, his emotions. He has to get on, and he does. And this, we get into this story called The Deadly Assassin. And this is written by the wonderful Robert Holmes, and it's really a political kind of satire about the Time Lords. We're learning more and more about the Time Lord Society, and that perhaps they're not this wonderful high and mighty group of people at all, or aliens or Time Lords, whatever you call them. And we get to know even more information about them, and of course this progresses quite a lot. But we get more key points in some of the mythology here in this story, which is interesting. And of course, the other important aspect of this is the return of a degenerated master filled with hate, determined to get the best and rid of the Time Lords and the Doctor as well. And this is kind of his trap to do this. So it's Robert Holmes says it was, well, he didn't actually say it, but a lot of people have talked about it, that it was based on The Manchurian Candidate from 1962, which is an American political satire thriller, starring Frank Sinatra, Angela Lansbury. It was, in fact, quite an interesting film, and they say that the basis of that, and it became part of the culture about assassinations. It's interesting that the year after, Kennedy was assassinated as well. Anyway, just throw that in, but we don't want to go too far off. This story is also directed once again by David Mahoney. Yeah, he's back. He's done the Genesis of the Daleks. He's done things like the War Games before with the Second Doctor. He's going to do Talons of Weng Chang. Great director. And in this, he really excels because the budget is chronic. It's not very good at all. The amount of money they had to get into those sets, the shots as a director, he had to try and create a more space than actually was. There was, of course, the location in the notorious third episode where it's back to the chalk pit again, and the usual things. But again, he has to do the best he can, and he does. He does a tremendous job. That's one thing you can say. The amazing look of this story, the sort of dark. It's a dark story. There's no doubt about it. This was on children's TV, and because a lot of people are very happy about it. And yes, fans at the time didn't like this. They said, it's not Doctor Who, what's going on here? Doesn't that sound familiar? Yes, they were just as vocal then. There wasn't the internet, but they were there making their voices present. They weren't pleased at all about the direction Doctor Who was going. And of course, it even extended further than that, ramifications for the BBC with Mary Whitehouse, saying it was too violent. And particularly a scene at the end of the third episode where the Doctor is drowning, being pushed, murdered, if you want. He's really looks in distress, and this was seen as a real no-go area. So when we got a repeat transmission, the BBC were forced to cut that scene. So as you can see, it was quite a controversial episode, and it's an important episode. So we've got, in terms of actors, I'll just point out, Bernard Horsfall, who plays Chancellor Goth, was in the War Games episode as a Time Lord, and he's back here known as Chancellor Goth, and he's the pivotal character who the Doctor discovers is up to no good. But of course, behind all this is the Master, the degenerating Master, who now looks like a skeleton, who looks pure evil, brilliantly played by Peter Pratt, the voice. The amount of expression and evil in that voice is amazing. It's just an amazing, it really is. So the Doctor is recalled by the, he thinks the Time Lord's back to Gallifrey, and then the story unravels that he has this vision of an assassination of the Chancellor, who he's going to name his successor. And of course, Chancellor Goth is hoping to be that successor, but will it be? Maybe not, possibly not. Anyhow, the assassination takes place, and it's framed that the Doctor did this assassination, and then we follow the story how the Doctor unravels exactly what is going on. And there's some great concepts way ahead of the time. We have the term of the Matrix, and the Matrix is this it's these alternative kind of reality where the Doctor goes in and actually confronts what is being going on. It's an amazing concept, so ahead of the time when you think about the Matrix. And that was able to project this image as well. And the Doctor is in there fighting Chancellor Goth and the Master, really. That's where it all comes down to save Gallifrey and the Time Lords, because the Master is hell bent on destroying everything, and this is the story. It's such a great story, the way it stands out. And as I say, the third episode was so controversial. unbelievable controversy at the time. Unbelievable, really. But as I say, that concept of the Matrix, I mean, wow. This again shows you the power of the writing of somebody like Robert Holmes, the imagination, the way he was able to take in ideas and then develop them. And there we are. I mean, it's so good. I highly recommend this story. If you've never seen this, it's one of those. It may not be the greatest Doctor Who story, but it is perhaps one of the most important Doctor Who stories. Yes, it is that important. The whole mythology of Doctor Who. Here we learn about Rassilon. We learn about the Eye of the Harmony. Which causes all these sort of concepts are very important in the mythology and development. I say the Matrix and this virtual reality world as well is just, it's a great idea. But the Eye of Harmony, wow, we get, as you know, later on more about this, and the whole mythology is developing now. We've seen it really from the War Games, learning a great deal about the Time Lords, and now it's starting to develop even more. And say the whole look of this story is absolutely fantastic when you consider as I say, the resources that were involved in the story, and it stands well up on that season 14, which is an absolute another classic Doctor Who season. I think also Tom Baker's performance in this, there's still that humour there, but it's cut back. There's a very serious more side to him in this. And that is good. He wanted to prove, it's interesting, he wanted to prove, and they did to him, that he could do this Doctor without a companion. That was his thing, but they said, look, you've got to have a companion. But we'll give you this story. And that's what happened. He got this story and proved that he could do it. But of course, we get another companion with Leela introduced in the next story. But it's typical Tom Baker. But he does such a great job. He shows his authority as well, I think, in this story. You know, he's not somebody to be messed with. Sometimes we forget that about the Doctor. You don't mess with the Doctor, no. Some of the other Doctors in the past have shown that, and this is very much there. He's very strong, very. We forget how very clever, strong an individual he is. And that he portrays this so well in this story. Yeah. I think maybe that's, I don't want to go into too much. If you've never seen this story, you've got to see it. You've got to see it. And see the controversy, as I say, of the third episode as well. And what they're able to do with that. It's such an important episode, I say, in the whole mythology. Now, it was released 2009 on this DVD here, and it's got some great extras on it. As usual, it's got some, very nice illustrated disc. We got a nice little booklet there. Then it was released, I think, in 220 in this ridiculous Time Lord Victorious with 7 episodes slung together on a Blu-ray. But the important one to get is, of course, this. This is the release. Now, you probably can't get this one, but you can get the, I'm sure you can get the other one, the standard release of this. This is what it's included on here. And of course, we've got the full version, not the edited one. Some new extras on here. This is the set. It's absolutely wonderful. Look at that cover as well. Fantastic. But yeah, Deadly Assassin is on this. So, that's it really. All I've got to say is, if you're interested in this video and want to know more, please subscribe. Say it doesn't cost anything and we'll let you know. Also, if you like this, please give it a like. Then, it supposedly, so they say, it gets around algorithms and all that stuff. And I'm still going, hey, what's going on? But anyway, and that costs no. So you can't say fairer than that, can you? Eh, by heck. So all I've got to say is, I'll see thee, and I'll see thee again. Yes.